Unwinding Anxiety by Judson Brewer. How we can break the cycles of worry, fear, and anxiety hidden in our habits. So, first step is to observe the behavioral patterns. So, anxiety actually happens when we are uncertain about a situation. So, anxiety arises when the brain prefrontal cortex have a lack of information. So if you worry about that is something a step forward, then that will actually lead to unproductive problem solve. So to break the habit loops, first thing is to have the awareness about mindfulness. It is not same as meditation. If you consider every opportunities or every encounters in life as a learning opportunity, so to break a habit, you should make a new habit that offer a more rewarding value. If you think that with your willpower you can control your anxiety, your panic and worry, then you're wrong. Breathe is the very simple way to understand that you're alive. Your eyes are the window to your soul. Welcome to Rami's Book Library. In today's video, Unwinding Anxiety by Judson Brewer, we are going to look into the how we can break the cycles of worry, fear, and anxiety. So it's more about an actionable insights, understanding about how the anxiety is working on our body, and also how we can tackle it and live more mindfully and peacefully. That's our book today. Let's get started. Many people actually fail to discover the anxiety because actually those are hidden in our habits. We don't see anxiety because it's somehow behind our so-called habits. So first one is to practically unravel those habits and try to understand the triggers and behaviors and results behind those habits. Anxiety can be found in the habits like drink, stress, eating, and also procrastination and all these things. So these behaviors actually create a vicious cycle. It will go on repeating. Like, okay, you have a low mood, then you eat more, or you have a fear, you procrastinate. A lot of these things it actually create a cycle and cycle and cycle, and you feel like you're out of control. First step is to observe the behavioral patterns. Just take a back seat and look at which of these behaviors is actually triggered and motivated by anxiety. Anxiety actually happens when we are uncertain about a situation, when we don't know what is going to happen tomorrow, what will happen to a meeting, what is an outcome of a cricket match, or what is an outcome of a finances, whatever it is, that uncertainty is the root cause of anxiety. Author discusses that we have anxiety in health as well as safety, finances, politics, interrelationship, all these things. First of all, understanding that is an anxiety and also try to see which of the outcome you can control, which of them you cannot. That understanding and acceptance is the first step in managing the anxiety. Anxiety arises when the brain prefrontal cortex have a lack of information about something and it cannot make an accurate prediction. So that actually create an anxiety. But fear is actually not same as anxiety. Fear is somehow a survival mechanism. So when a survival is cured, it will stop there. But anxiety, it's more about a maladaptive. It's not a survival, it's a maladaptive scenarios and all. So survival anxiety is actually over response to an uncertainty. We feel that okay, we should be anxious about an interview, then only we will be putting everything what we have in that interview. Same like for example, I'm anxious to do this book summary, feeling that okay, then only I can do the best in this one. So that is a lack of information or uncertainty whether I will perform well or not. That is anxiety. That is not same as fear. Fear is something else. Anxiety has some deep roots and evolutionary. Our ancient ancestors, when they were in savannas and all, they tried to explore the new territories. They have some level of anxiety because they're not sure about what is in that new territory. And when they understand that lack of information is being fulfilled with some information, that got elevated and that discomfort of uncertainty is gone. That is there in the past. But now we live in different place. We are not conquering the territories like our ancestors, but we have a different thing level of anxiety, or another way, a uncertainty or a lack of information of lot of things or unpredictability. That is actually make like churning our anxiety in our modern life. Habit loop of an anxiety consists of three. First one, trigger, like a stress or anxiety is happening. Then there is a behavior which is somehow seeking a solution. It can be many ways, like you stress yourself, that's one thing. If you have a low mood, do it an ice cream, that's another way. Like lot of way we try to seek a solution or try to distract from that topic. That's both way it will happen. Like if you cannot manage this, you distract from this. That's a distracting mechanism. Like if you're anxious about something, you're taking a mobile phone, that is a distraction. Then sometime you will find a solution. Like you're anxious, you look at a mobile phone, that is a temporary solution, and that may reduce anxiety, but that will come up again. That's the point. If you worry about that, that is something a step forward, then that will actually lead to unproductive problem solving. You worried about that triggering more anxiety. So somehow that loop, understanding that loop is important. So worry is not a solution if that is not in control of you. To break the habit loops, first thing is to have the awareness what is happening around you and some level of patience to have that awareness and understanding. So try to map your habits, understand how it is working, how this habit loop is working. Once you map it, when it is happening and all, then working through them consistently. You cannot solve it like a switching a button like that. You have to work consistently. That way you can give more rewards, like better and better and outcome you try to give, and you try to make your anxious brain more comfortable and convenient. Another point author is highlighting is about mindfulness. It is not same as meditation. Meditation is some way a path to mindfulness. Mindfulness in its simple way, it is being present in the current moment and be non-judgmental. So if you can stay in your anxious situation and you don't judge what's happening, then that's mindful. So practicing that helps you to become more aware. If your whole bandwidth of your brain is focused on the anxiety or worrying something or panic on something, then there is no bandwidth, there is no awareness, there is no patience or understanding. Instead, if you're mindful, stay mystic. Like you are fine, anything can happen. It can happen this way or that way. You are still okay. That is mindfulness. So the brain, how the habits are formed is actually based on the reward value and how much value you certain to that. So if you try to trick with that value, or in another way, if you can provide more value to something else, then you can break that habit. Like for example, if I take it in a technological perspective, like you're using an app, say WhatsApp or something, you can break the using of that pattern of a particular user if you give them something a 10x better than that. So you're giving more value. Same way, if you have an habit that is actually rewarding your brain, try to give something much better than that, so that brain will leave that and will go with the one you are suggesting. And another way, if you consider every opportunities or every encounters in life as a learning opportunity, that is actually enhances your ability to cope up with anxieties and all. Like say, for example, your ideal work day is something without any anxiety, then every anxious moment or every task which trigger anxiety will disturb you. Instead, if you think that, okay, I am the person here to solve every problem is a challenge and something make me enjoyable or enthusiastic in doing that, then you will just enjoy being anxious or you'll just enjoy the process. That's what I mean. So adopting a curious and kind attitude towards you, some level of curiosity to understand what's happening, why this is happening, some level of that scientific or that level of analytical thinking, and be kind with yourself. You don't have to punish yourself. Be kind with your body, your mind, and everything. That way, you can make the process more manageable and enjoyable. If you incorporate some level of mindfulness in your daily practice, you can be more mindful and you can be ground yourself. Grounding is something like it's similar to the electrical grounding and all. Like you are just making your energy in line with the earth. So if you consider an earthing of this one like that. Similarly, you ground your energy to the core of the planet or whatever it is. That's how that energy healing works. If you ground yourself, or in another way, you are here now. You grounded here or you landed here. That somehow break the cycle of habit loops. The author is proposing RAIN practice, RAIN. It's an acronym. It's what it means is that first one R is recognize. Recognize there is this anxiety is happening. Then allow it to express itself. And third one, investigate or curious or trying to understand what's happening. And the first one, you try to note on that. So it's something like a structured approach to managing this one. So you try to understand the sensations, how it is happening, and then you detach you from that outcome. Like there is a trigger, behavior, and a result. So trigger, you understand what is the behavior you are, when it is allowing, you are investigating that behavior, and then you detach yourself from that result. So that way you can break from that process of anxiety. To break a habit, you should make a new habit that offer a more rewarding value. That's the thing. But with mindfulness, you can provide more satisfying reward than something like without reinforcing the old habit loops like that. So that's really an important thing to understand. Curiosity, as I mentioned before, it is more powerful than willpower. If you think that with your willpower, you can control your anxiety, your panic and worry, then you're wrong. With curiosity, you have two benefits. First of all, you'll be able to understand what's happening now. And secondly, you can use that learning, that continuous learning to tackle that next time. So every time you encounter, you have that curiosity, that learning and curiosity, that cycle is repeating. So you will be in a better position to provide or understand what's happening, train your body and mind to see what's happening and how to manage itself. Something similar, if you're coming about anxiety and stress management, this is something you have come across already, breathe management. Breathe is the very simple way to understand that you're alive. So with the breathe, you can make magic. Like there are a lot of exercises. There is Wim Hof method. There is pranayama, lot of things. But anything that breathe, that taking of breath, that the way it flows, the way it inflows and outflows, that way you can stay present. The best way to stay present, the best way to stay relaxed is just managing and controlling your breath. It is not necessary that you have to practice that time. Like you have to make sure you have your vital capacity, your way you are breathing. Such things you can improve using aerobic exercises, breathing exercises, and all. Then, when you require something, you will be in a better position to control and manage your breath. And something strange, or maybe your eyes are the window to your soul. So the best way to understand whether you are stressful, it is not your face, your eyes will show that first. So understanding that will allow us to manage the anxiety, fear, and frustrations to simple practices and all. Evidence-based faith. So consistent practice of mindfulness. You can do your way. If you're really searching for something, I would recommend John Kabat-Zinn and all. He is very expert in mindfulness. But there are a lot of mindfulness meditation practices which you can follow. So that will somehow make you more alive in your body and all. That level of trust, understanding, and coping with your body will allow you to reduce smoking, overeating, because somehow this anxiety to a habit loop will it will further result in worry and panic. But in another stage, it can even go to some level of addictions and all. So the smoking is somehow an anxiety reducing mechanism. Same way overeating, all these things. So if you are mindful, research has shown that it can be more effective in controlling all these addictive anxiety management maladaptive situations. Anxiety sobriety simply means is that focus on managing anxiety in the present moment. Like anxiety is not something like you just stop now and then it will not come up again. It's more like you have to tackle in the present. You don't have to worry about the future. When the future comes, we will take that time. That will be the present that time. That's my point. And what I'm trying to tell. For example, if I'm anxious now, just tackle now. Don't worry about an upcoming anxiety happening after 1 week. When that happens, we will manage the same way we are managing now. That way will be more allowing ourselves to alive. Every day in your life, you are supposed to alive and enjoy and contribute everything in your full. If one day is gone, That's gone. So that's the conclusion of the book. It's somehow a very short conclusion. Some of anxiety-driven habits and mindfulness and understanding and curiosities. If you like to understand more about the book and all, feel free to just buy the book and enjoy yourself. Until we come across with the next book, thank you for watching. Thank you for all your support with us. Get back to you soon.